सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया, that's it. But listen तो.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा। इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
On popular demand, I read your feedback, and I saw the feedback yesterday. There was a lot of demand for an episode on the Chandrababu Naidu issue, the arrest of Chandrababu Naidu, what it means for Andhra politics. Andhra is a very important state. It sends 25 members to our Lok Sabha, exactly as many as, say, in the same ballpark as Gujarat and Rajasthan. And yet we talk so little about it. That also shows how Hindi heartland centric we are in terms of our political analysis, for which I apologize to you, but we have to learn. Also, it's while reading up on this issue now and also chatting about this, discussing it with our political editor DK Singh, that we both figured that there are so many complexities in the politics of southern states, particularly in Andhra. You would have thought that, maybe it's not such a complex state. But no, the politics of Andhra is quite cluttered and quite complex, that it actually became a tutorial for us to figure out what exactly has been happening there, and also tutorial on a fascinating politician's life. That is Chandrababu Naidu. By all accounts, I would say today, the most mercurial and the most fleet-footed politician with the fastest footwork in Indian politics at this point. And I will explain to you why. It just so happens that footwork at this point has got him in jail. He's in Rajamundry jail as a special prisoner, in the sense that he has some special facilities, can get home food, etc. But he hasn't got bail. In fact, I see some discussion on Twitter, or what is now called X, by the former director of the CBI, who's saying, looking at his application in the remand court, etc., that his lawyers have not really asked for bail. I don't know if that's quite true. I'm sharing those tweets with you on the screen from Mr. Nageshwar Rao, senior retired IPS officer. So hopefully he should know what he's talking about. That's why I'm sharing these tweets with you. So I don't know, there might be politics to it, because a lot of people are saying that that's because Chandrababu Naidu, now that YS Jagan Mohan Reddy and his party, YSRCP, have chosen to arrest him, he'd rather stay in jail to make a political point. And meanwhile, he's able to rouse crowds in protests, not as massive as he would have liked to, but not as inconsequential also as, say, happened with Imran Khan in Pakistan when the army had him picked up. Nevertheless, Chandrababu Naidu, what is the case against him? The case against Chandrababu Naidu is that when he was Chief Minister the last time, that is from 2014 to 2019, during that chief ministership, he was launching a lot of plans. He wanted to build a new capital for Andhra Pradesh and Amravati. There is a case against him about that also. That's called the Inner Ring Road project, where it is alleged that he changed the alignment of the ring road to benefit some real estate developers. But more importantly, the immediate pain point for him is a case of skill development centers. Now, the case is as follows, and I'm simplifying it as much as I can. The case is that his government decided that they were going to set up a bunch of skill development centers in the state and skill a lot of the people of Andhra Pradesh. That will take a lot of money. And the idea was, according to government documents, according to documents charging him, and I have with me the remand note that the prosecuting agency put forward. The prosecuting agency being the CID, Crime Investigation Department of the State Police, particularly, specifically its Economic Offensive Wing. So they put out a remand note saying that Chandrababu Naidu, very briefly put, there are a lot of accused, names of a lot of accused, you will see them on your screen. Chandrababu Naidu actually only happens to be the 37th accused. FIR was lodged in December 2021. However, in that FIR, Chandrababu Naidu was not named. Couple of days before his arrest, his name was brought in and he was then arrested. Now, this documentation that the prosecuting agency has put forward to the remand court, This says this lists him as accused number 37, and briefly the accusation is that he decided to set up the skill development centers in collaboration with a reputed international company called Siemens Industries Software India Private Limited. So this is Siemens, the German company Siemens. Now, where is the rub? The complication lies in the fact that this was not being done directly through Siemens. There was also an Indian company. There was also a bunch of companies through which his government was making this deal with Siemens. And very briefly put, so the deal was that 3,300 crore project, 90% will be invested by Siemens or this Siemens subsidiary, 10% will be grant in aid given by the state government. And at the end of the day, the allegation is that state government made its grant in aid, in fact, a little more than 10%, whereas Siemens gave nothing. So the allegation is that the whole thing was an elaborate facade or quote-unquote fraud that was created by the Chandrababu Naidu government. Again, add in allegedly everywhere. Please take that as read, because this is nasty state politics and this plays out from state to state in India. It's also the story of every state, and also particularly states which have regional parties competing with each other. This tends to get very nasty and very vicious. That's why we have to be very careful judging these allegations. So the case is that a grant in aid was maybe a fiction that was created allegedly by the Chandrababu Naidu government, and the whole idea was to get the exchequer to pay this money to the private company, which was a go-between, and there is an allegation that this go-between was a company actually a proxy for then or the management head of the Siemens company. So this was just an underhand deal, and this money was transferred by the state government to this private company while no grant came in from Siemens. Then in turn, this money, again allegations from the prosecutors, again this money was transferred to a bunch of shell companies and other shady entities through shady deals. And those deals were picked up by the GST surveillance system, by the directorate tracking large GST transactions out of Pune. And they are the ones who raised a flag, and that's how the state anti-corruption machinery got into the act. So once again, the allegation is 3,300 crores, 90% was to come from Siemens, nothing came from Siemens. Whereas the state government paid up 371 crores. State government actually set up a state corporation. Specifically for this job, there was no cabinet clearance taken for setting up that corporation. Money was paid despite the objections of then Principal Secretary Finance K. Sunitha, who by the way right now is also serving in Andhra Pradesh. She's a 1996 IAS officer and currently she is Secretary Textiles and Handlooms. So she put down her objections in writing saying that this is not as per regulations. The setting up of this corporation allegedly did not have cabinet clearance. The appointments to the corporation also. Allegations in the government's remand note that he appointed his favorites and his handymen into the corporation in key positions. And one of them was also appointed ex officio education secretary in the state, and one of them was also then appointed as one of the secretaries to the chief minister. So all of that then allegedly enabled him to siphon off this money. So once again, no money came from Siemens. 371 crores was given without any grant from Siemens. So maybe the whole idea of Siemens was, at least that is the charge. He's accused of having created a fiction. So once again, to simplify this, I will just read up from the remand note. But remember, this is the prosecution's remand note. This is the police's remand note. And it says, and I quote, "The genesis of the crime is that the accused of the case projected to the government of Andhra Pradesh as if technology partners, Messrs. Siemens Industries Software India Private Limited, which is abbreviated as SISW, and Messrs. Design Tech System Private Limited, Design Tech, which is the company in the middle, they would support a skill development program in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Next, the project would involve setting up of 6 centers of excellence and 36 technical skill development institutions. And 3, that the estimated cost of the project would be 3,281 crores. approximately. That's the reason I'm rounding it off to 3,300 because that's how it came out, of which the technology partners would meet 90% of the cost of the project as grant in aid, and the state government had to invest only 10% of the cost of the project. Now, if I read this remand note, it gets very confusing, and I must be clear about this because this is the language in the remand note early, where they say that 90% will come from Siemens as grant in aid and 10% from the state as investment. Later on, as you read the document in detail, they say that 90% will be the investment from technology partners, which is mainly Siemens and the Indian intermediary there, which is Design Tech, and 10% will be grant from the state. To me, if you ask me, the second sounds more logical because why would the private company give a grant in aid and that too of such a large amount? It's for the governments to give grant in aid to support new industry or new enterprises, but I don't know. Maybe at some point somebody will raise questions about this contradiction, but it's not for me to raise those questions right now, except to point this out to you. I'm also not taking a view on the allegations. Then again, this note goes on to say, government allegation goes on to say that the state government set up this corporation without cabinet clearance, and that corporation that became the state government's instrument to sign this deal. So essentially, and I again read from the remand note. So these are allegations. These are the police's allegations. I'm not endorsing any of this. These again say, as a part of the conspiracy to misappropriate the money from the public exchequer, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu orchestrated the incorporation of the Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation, which is APSSDC, bypassing the Council of Ministers and appointed hand-picked people such as Sri Ghanta Subba Rao and Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, retired IAS, as the MD and CEO and director of APSSDC. Then they go on to say, the police go on to say, or the CID goes on to say, a new Department of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Innovation was created as the controlling department for APSSDC, this new corporation, and placed before Mr. K. Achan Naidu, then minister. He also is among the people charged in this case. Then they say that merely on a PowerPoint presentation given by the representative of Design Tech and the Siemens subsidiary, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu approved this plan, did not carry out any market survey or follow any other canons of financial propriety. And then they go on to say that Chandrababu Naidu and his government hid the fact that no due diligence had been carried out, no detailed project report had been prepared, and 371 crores was released despite the objections of the Principal Secretary Finance. That in brief is the case. Now, this case will take its own course. We know the legal system, how it works in India. This will go on for some time. Depending on which side of the central government he is on, either the central agencies will get involved in this or they will not get involved in this. Also, that will depend on the calculation that all sides are making, calculation that Jagan Mohan Reddy is making and his party is making in terms of their alliances for the forthcoming Lok Sabha elections. Also the fact that they quite readily back all of the BJP legislations in both houses of parliament because they have strength both in Lok Sabha. BJP doesn't need it, but still more numbers don't hurt. So they have strength in Lok Sabha. They also have strength in Rajya Sabha, which becomes very critical for the BJP, particularly for crucial legislations. And as we recently saw in the case of the voting over the Delhi ordinance being made into a law. So this is a developing political situation. And you know what? If there is one politician in our entire system who's perfectly used to dealing with developing situations, it is Chandrababu Naidu. Now, this is a very unusual situation for him because he's in jail and he's facing corruption charges. In 2015, there was a cash for vote scandal in the Legislative Council elections. But those were not cases that led him to him being arrested. Also, he was on the right side of power. Now, he's on the wrong side of power at the center and also in the state. There's a national election coming up. And he is in this very fluid situation. But see, also review where he's come from and what he has gone through. 1975, he was still a student. He has a master's in economics from Sri Venkateshwara University. He was a student in 1975. He joined Youth Congress. Remember, that was the year of the emergency, the rise of Sanjay Gandhi. He became a fan of Sanjay Gandhi's and through that rose very fast. In 1978, he was given a ticket and he became an MLA for the first time on the Congress party ticket. And that year, he was the youngest MLA. Soon enough, he became a minister as well. So at the age of 30, he became the youngest minister. And as minister, he did not have many important ministries, but he had one critical one, and one that played a very critical role in his life going ahead. That was the Ministry of Cinematography Affairs or Cinema Affairs. Telugu cinema, as we know, is a very powerful entity. And because he had that ministry, he came in contact with N.T. Ramarao. So in about 1980, he became a minister. He soon came in contact with N.T. Ramarao, who was a famous film star, the biggest film star in Telugu cinema. And just next year, in 1981, he had married Bhuvaneshwari, the daughter of N.T. Ramarao. In 1982, N.T. Ramarao launched Telugu Desam Party. And again, we have to understand how that happened. Anjaya, who was the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh at that time, he had gone maybe in a show of over-enthusiasm, but we know that that's been the culture with the Congress party in the past, and that in fact has become the culture with all parties in India. Rajiv Gandhi was then not prime minister, but he was Indira Gandhi's son. He was coming into Hyderabad for a personal visit, and Anjaya landed up at the airport with a bunch of dancers and a large crowd to celebrate Rajiv Gandhi's arrival, and they got onto the tarmac of the airport. Rajiv Gandhi got really irritated. Apparently, eyewitnesses say that he called Anjaya a buffoon, and when he went back, he persuaded his mother to fire Anjaya. And that started a process of instability in Andhra Pradesh and also the decline of the Congress party. That was seen as an insult to Telugu pride, and based on that, NTR founded his Telugu Desam Party. In fact, his slogan was Telugu Vari Atma Gauravam. I hope I pronounce it right, which is Telugu Pride. So for Telugu Pride, he started the party, and that is how the journey of TDP started. And that's how the beginning of the Congress party started, because a challenge developed not from another national party, but from a regional party, a new regional party. In 1983, NTR contested the election, TDP contested the election. Babu, already NTR's son-in-law, stayed with the Congress party, lost that election. He contested for the Congress, lost, but immediately afterwards joined the father-in-law. And since then, he's been in TDP. But there is a twist, which if you are from Andhra and if you follow Andhra politics, you know about, but I shall still tell you about it. In 1986, he became General Secretary of the TDP. Father-in-law really loved him for his organizational ability. In 1994, he got a key portfolio, became a minister in the father's cabinet. He got a key portfolio, finance and revenue. As we know, in state governments, that's a very powerful ministry. In 1995, he carried out a coup against the father-in-law. That's again a complicated turn of events in Andhra politics. Lakshmi Parvati came in. NTR wasn't keeping very good health. Lakshmi Parvati came in and she started taking over a lot of power and interfering in a lot of decisions. It was in that process when Chandrababu Naidu thought or feared, he had good reasons to think so, that the father-in-law was going to hand over the party to his new wife. It was at that point that he carried out a coup. He got his MLAs collected, his father-in-law's party's MLAs collected in a hotel. And while the father-in-law said that he'll fight back and he'll get his party back, he wasn't able to do so. He wasn't well. By 1996, the father-in-law, great N.T. Ramarao, had passed away, and Chandrababu Naidu was in full control of TDP, and he's been in full control of TDP since then. By 1996, our national politics had begun to change dramatically because Narasimha Rao lost his power and Congress party had really gone into decline. So initially, to prevent the BJP from coming into power, United Front was put together. And that's how Deve Gowda and Indra Kumar Gujral became prime ministers. In those coalitions, United Front coalitions, Chandrababu Naidu and his TDP were a key partner. They were a key partner to the extent that Chandrababu Naidu was made convener of United Front. At one point when they were searching for a prime minister, his name was also in the reckoning. His name was also discussed. And in fact, if you ask me in terms of just the sheer number of MPs they had or the sheer amount of credibility or national recognition they had, between him and Deve Gowda, I think his claim would have been a little bit better than or considerably better than Deve Gowda's. But he did not get the prime ministership. He, however, continued with United Front, but that was not all. That is not where he stopped. When United Front lost power and he saw the BJP getting closer to power, then he got into an alliance with the BJP, not formally first. Initially, he had a post-poll alliance with the BJP, and that's when Bala Yogi became Speaker. When the first NDA government led by Vajpayee was in power, Speaker Bala Yogi, you might remember, later unfortunately died in a helicopter crash. In 1999, TDP and Chandrababu Naidu formally joined the BJP, and in the state election, in the combined Andhra election, which had 42 seats to Lok Sabha, between the two of them, TDP and BJP, they nearly swept that poll. They got 36 seats. That NDA, 1999 NDA government of Vajpayee's, his party was the second largest party after the BJP, and he became really powerful. Now that carried on, and that was his heyday. He had power in his state, he was chief minister, and that's when he really laid the foundation of the Hyderabad Industrial Revolution as well. And that's when he began to package Hyderabad as a counter to Bangalore. So it's not as if later in the 2 terms or 1.5 terms that Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy had for the Congress party, he did not contribute to developing Hyderabad into Cyberabad. It was Babu who laid the foundation of the Hyderabad miracle in that term. That term where he worked in partnership with Vajpayee in Delhi. And then he made his first big political mistake in 2003 when he thought he was probably getting unpopular because of some reformist decisions like increasing power tariffs, and also probably to ride a sympathy wave after an attempt on his life by Naxalites near the Tirupati temple. He dissolved his assembly ahead of time. It so happened that Vajpayee also decided to advance Lok Sabha elections, and then Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha elections were held simultaneously in 2004, in which now he got wiped out. He got defeated by the Congress party big time, and that led to the rise of Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy, whose son Jagannath Reddy later founded YSRCP, and who's now the chief minister and who's put Chandrababu Naidu under arrest. Now, 2004, Chandrababu Naidu's story did not end, because he might have lost that election, but he stayed very active in politics. In 2009, he combined with TRS, but again did not do badly. Congress won a second term. Then we know what happened. Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy also died in a helicopter crash, after which Andhra again saw instability. Telangana movement came back and the state was split. In 2014, after the state was bifurcated and Telangana was created, Babu, as Chandrababu Naidu is called, he was back with the BJP. Now he was back with the BJP and had another partner in Pawan Kalyan, actor Pawan Kalyan's Janasena. With them, he won a clear and easy majority in the state. He won 102 seats out of 175, more than good enough for a majority. He also won 16 Lok Sabha seats out of 25. So once again, he had got his power back. He was important in the state. He was important at the center. The difference, however, was that by this time, unlike Vajpayee's BJP, Modi's BJP, even in the first term, had a majority of its own. So while he still had 16 MPs in the Modi Lok Sabha, in the first Modi Lok Sabha, they did not count for as much as they might have in the Vajpayee Lok Sabha, because there BJP did not have a majority. Now that was going all right until 2018, and once again he saw some unpopularity building up, and he saw YSRCP, that is Jagan's party, building a movement against him because of the grievance that Andhra Pradesh was not given the special state status that the government had promised in parliamentary debate when the state was being split. In protest against that, he pulled out of NDA. He held a fast. That was the second big political mistake he made, and he has stayed out of power since then. He tried different things after that also. In 2018 Telangana elections, for example, he joined hands with the Congress party, right? The only time he's joined hands with the Congress party in his long political career. In fact, at that point, I was traveling in Telangana during the elections, and we found Rahul Gandhi and Chandrababu Naidu at one of their rallies in Hyderabad. And I asked Rahul Gandhi, what is this alliance about? Is it about chemistry or is it about math? He said it's about both chemistry and math. Good words, and those words were broadcast on NDTV. The fact, however, is that the alliance did very badly. They got wiped out by KCR's party TRS, and since then they haven't worked together. Now, on the eve of the coming elections, once again, Babu has been searching for a partner. And what are his options? When he looks for his options, his one option could be the Congress party, but doesn't look like the Congress party wants him. Also, it doesn't look like he needs the Congress party. The Congress party is today so down and out in Andhra that they can't bring any votes for him, because the Congress vote bank in Andhra Pradesh has shifted clearly and almost entirely to YSRCP. So the only party he can couple with right now is the BJP, besides indeed actor Pawan Kalyan's Janasena. So he came to Delhi. There's been some talk of his having behind the scenes negotiations with the BJP. We've seen leaders of the BJP, Amit Shah and JP Nadda, both make nasty remarks about Jagan in Andhra Pradesh in their rallies. In a series of meetings in June this year, not long back, in June this year, Amit Shah and JP Nadda both said rude things about Jagan. Amit Shah said this government, Jagan's government, has achieved nothing but corruption in their years in Andhra Pradesh. He also said that Andhra Pradesh, under the watch of Jagan's government, has notched up the third highest number of farmer suicides in the country. Similarly, JP Nadda also made allegations against Jagan. Jagan responded by saying, I have no trust in these parties like the BJP. People are with me, they are my courage. Good line, brave words, but the fact also is that Jagan today is in no position to be at odds with the BJP, because he also has a history of a lot of cases which kept him in jail and which can be revived by somebody just flicking their fingers in Delhi. So he has at the back of his mind. Then is the BJP then a natural ally for the TDP? I will take you back to something that Amit Shah said about Chandrababu Naidu in 2019. In 2019, February 2019, Amit Shah said that he's a U-turn chief minister. He always keeps changing his mind. To sum up this story, the harsh political fact right now in Andhra Pradesh is that in the state, only one party needs a national ally, desperately needs a national ally, and that party is Chandrababu Naidu. The only national ally that party, Chandrababu Naidu's party, can have is the BJP, because they've been together in the past multiple times. And any time they've been together, both have benefited greatly. They are natural allies. Doesn't matter that in the middle, Babu has flirted with the Congress party once or TRS once. The BJP has been his most profitable ally. Also, his half ally in the state, Pawan Kalyan's Janasena, is already with the BJP and has apparently been working to bring the BJP and TDP together. It's in this mess that Jagan's government has moved in to arrest Chandrababu Naidu in a fairly complicated corruption case.